Time Management by Tracey. Introduction. Your ability to manage your time as much as any other practice in your career as an executive will determine your success or failure. Time is the one indispensable and irreplaceable resource of accomplishment. It is your most precious asset. It cannot be saved nor can be recovered once lost. Everything you have to do requires time, and the better you use your time, the more you will accomplish, and the greater will be your rewards. Time management is essential for maximum health and personal effectiveness. The degree to which feel in control to your time and your life is a major determinant of your level of inner peace, harmony, and mental well-being. A feeling of being out of control of your time is the major resource of stress, anxiety, and depression. The better you can organize and control the critical event of your life, the better you will feel moment to moment, and the more energy you will have, the better you will sleep and more you will get done. It is possible for you gain to productive hour each working day, or even double output and your productivity by using the ideas and methods taught in the book. These techniques have proven successful for many thousands of executives in every field of endeavor, and they will prove successful for you too, as long as you have what I call you for 4 Ds. The 4 Ds of effectiveness. The first G is desire. You must have an intense burning desire to get your time under control to achieve maximum effectiveness. The second G is decisiveness. You must take a clear decision that you are going to practice good time management technique until they become a habit. The third D stands for determination. You must be willing to persist in the face of all temptation of the contrary until you have become an effective time manager. Your desire will reinforce your determination. And finally, the most important key to success in the life, the fourth D, is discipline. You must discipline yourself to make time management of a lifelong practice. Effective discipline is willingness enforced into yourself to pay the price and to do what you know you should do, when you should do it, whenever you feel like it or not. This is critical for success. The payoff of becoming an excellent time manager is huge. It is outwardly identifiable quality of a high performer versus low performer. All winners in life use their time well. All poor performance in life is use time there poorly. One of the most important rules for success is simply to from good habits to make them your masters. In these books, you will learn how to form good habits and they learn from you. What you will learn in these books, there are 21 most important solutions and effectiveness. Time management, the almost all high productive people they discovered and incorporated into their lives. Remember that time management is really life management. Good time management and personal productivity brings by valuing your life and every minute of every life. Do what you can with what you have right where you are. You should say yourself, my life is precious and important and I value every single minute and hour of it. I am going to use those hours properly so I can accomplish the most I can in the time that I have. The good news in the time management is a business skill and all business skills are runnable. Time management is like riding a bicycle, typing on a keyboard, or playing a sport. It is made up of a series of methods, strategies, and techniques. It is a skill set that you can learn, practice, and master with determination and repetition. The psychology of time management. How you talk and you feel about yourself largely determines the quality of your life, and the emotional core of your personality in your self-esteem defined as how much you like yourself. Your self-esteem is largely determined by the way and use your life and time in the development of your full potential. Your self-esteem increases when you are working effectively and your self-esteem goes down when you are not. The flip side of the coin and self-esteem is called self-efficacy, defined as the degree to which you feel you are competent, capable, and productive, able to solve your problems, do your work, and achieve your goals. The more competent, capable, and productive you feel, the higher your self esteem. The higher your self esteem, the more productive and capable you will be. Each one supports and reinforces the others. People who manage their time will feel positive, confident, and in the charge of our lives. The law of control. The psychology of time management is based on a simple principle called the law of control. This law says that you feel good about yourself to the degree to which you feel you are in control of your own life. This law also says that you feel negative about yourself to the degree to which you feel negative about yourself and degree to which you feel you are not in control to your life or work. Psychologists refer to the difference between an international locus of control where you feel that you are the master of your own destiny, and an external locus of control, where you will feel that you are controlled by customers and outside yourselves. When you have an external local control, you feel that you are controlled by your boss or your bills, by the pressure of your work and responsibilities. You feel that you have too much to do in too tight little time and that you are not really in charge of your time and your life. Most of what you are doing hour after hour is reacting and responding to external events. There is a big difference between action and that self-determined and goal-directed and reaction, which is an immediate response of external pressure. It's the difference between feeling positive and control of your life and feeling negative stress and pressure. To perform at your best, you must have a strong feeling of control and important areas of your business and personal life. Your thoughts and feelings. In psychological terms, each person has self-concept and internal master's program that regulates his behavior and every important areas of life. People with a high self-concept important regarding time management see themselves and think about themselves as being well organized and productive. They are very much charge of their lives and their works. Your self-concept is made up all your ideas, pictures, images, and especially your beliefs about yourself, especially regarding the way you manage your time. Some people believe themselves to be extremely well organized and efficient. Others feel continuously overwhelmed by demand of other people and customers. Beliefs become realities. What about your beliefs about yourself and your ability to manage your own time? Do you see yourself and think about yourself as highly efficient and effective time manager? Do you believe you are highly productive and complete control of your life and your work? Whatever your belief, if you think to yourself as an excellent time manager, you will naturally to do things that you are consistent with the belief. Because of your self-concept causes you to continually strive for consistency between the person you see yourself as on the inside, the way you perform, and the outside. If you believe you manage your time well, you will be good time manager. You can check all the courses on time management, read all the book and practice the various systems. But if you perceive yourself as being a sport time manager, nothing will help if you have developed the habit of being late for meeting and appointments, or you believe that you are a disorganized person. Those habits become your automatic behavior. If you do not charge your beliefs about your personal levels or effectiveness and efficiency, your ability to manage your time will not change either. Make a decision. How do you develop new positive beliefs about yourself and your level of personal productivity? Fortunately, it is not difficult. You simply use your 4 Gs: desire, decisiveness, determination, and discipline. Most important, make a decision on developing a specific time management habit like being early for every meeting for the foreseeable future. Every change in your life comes about when you make a clear, unequivocal decision to do something differently. Making a decision to become an excellent time manager is the first major step. Program your mind. Once you have made the decision to become a highly productive person, there are a series of person programming techniques that you can practice. The first you to change your inner dialogue. 95% of your emotion and your eventual actions are determined by the way you talk to yourself most of the time. Repeat to yourself, I am well organized and highly productive. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, you too much work, take a time out and say to yourself, I am well organized and highly productive. Affirm over and over to yourself that I am an excellent time manager. If people ask you about your time uses, tell them, I am an excellent time manager. Whenever you say that I am well organized, your subconscious accepts that these words and a comment and being to motivate and drive you towards actually becoming well organized in your behaviors. Visualize yourself. Visualize yourself as you want to be. The second way of transfer your beliefs, behaviors, and visualize yourself as an excellent time manager. See yourself as organized, efficient, and in the control in your life. Remember, the person you see on the inside is the person you will be on the outside. If you are already as a well organized and highly productive person, how would you behave differently? You would be different from the way you behave today. Create a picture of yourself as calm, confident, highly efficient, more relaxed, and able to complete large amount of work in a short period of time. Imagine what a highly productive person would look like. Would look like the person decks be clear and steady. Would the person appear unhurried and unstressed? Create a clear mental picture of yourself as a person who is the control of his time and life. Act as if. The third way to program yourself to act as if you were already a good time manager. Think of yourself as being well organized in everything you do. If you were already excellent in time management, you would be believed that you would be doing differently. Will regard your time and personal productivity. What would be different from the way you're doing things now? Interestingly enough, even if you do not think that you are a good time manager today, but nonetheless you pretend that you already are, this action will generate a feeling of personal efficiency. You can actually change your action, habits, and behavior when you fake it until you make it. Determine your values. Since time management is really life management, improving your personal productivity begins with an examination of your values. One of the Murphy's laws says that before you do anything, you have to do something else first. It's not possible to manage your time properly unless you know exactly what your values are. Good time management requires that you bring your control over a sequence of events into harmony with what is the most important to you. If it is not important to you, then you will never feel motivated and determined to get control of your time. Ask yourself this: why am I doing what I am doing? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do this job you do? What your reason for working where you work? Meaning and purpose. Each person has a deep need for meaning and purpose in life. One of the major reasons for personal stress and unhappiness is the feeling that what you are doing has no meaning and purpose as it applies to you and your innermost values and convictions. You must always start off by asking question why. You can become more efficient with the time management technique, but it won't to do good if you just become more efficient with doing something that is the meaningless you to get greater efficiency. You simply increase your sense of alienation, frustration, and anxiety. What do you value most? The next question you need to ask is what do you value most in the life? What do you really like about the stand for? What do you not stand for? You will only feel really happy, valuable, and worthwhile the degree to which your day to day activities in the harmony with your values. Almost all stress, tension, anxiety, frustration, both in life and in work, comes from doing one thing while you believe and value something completely different. There is many reports about executives experiencing burnout as the result of the stress of their work, but people who love that they are doing and they put their whole heart into their work because it is a reflection of their values seldom experience stress and burnout of any kind. When you are living constant with your values, you seem to experience a continuous flow of energy, enthusiasm, and creativity. It just comes from working all things that are not consistent with your highest values. Examine your values, your innermost beliefs and convictions, and almost yourself. Ask what change you could make to bring your activities on your outside and your life priorities on the inside more into alignment with each other. You are extraordinary. Realize and accept that you are unique and wonderful person. Your values have grown and evolved over the course of your entire lifetime. They have emerged as the result of countless influence and experience. They are part of your psychological and emotional DNA. They are part of your character and personality. They seldom change over time. Your job is to determine what your innermost values really are and then to organize your life and so that you are living and working consistent with these values. Analyze yourself. Here are four sentence completion exercise that you can use to gain better insights into the persons you really are inside. Complete a sentence. I am if a stranger were to ask you, who are you really? What you would be your answer? What are the first words that you would use to describe yourself? Would you describe yourself in the term of your work, your qualities as a person, your hopes, dreams, aspirations? Select 3 to 5 words to complete the sentence, such as I am. If you are to interview the people around you, the people you have with and work with, and ask them same question about yourself, what would they say? How would question about yourself? What you say? Other people describe you in terms of your values and the person you really are. Based on the way you behave and treat the other people, what conclusions would they come to about the persons you are inside? People are, think of people in general in the world around you. How would you describe the human race? Are people good, warm, or loving? Are people lazy, devious, or untrustworthy? Your answer will have a major influence on how you treat about everything. You will accomplish an executive as a personal life with family and friends. Life is your response. The here may seem simple, but it speaks to your entire philosophy of life. Positive, healthy, happy people see life as wonderful experience, full of ups and downs, but certainly a great adventure overall. One of my favorite story in your about young man who goes to an old philosopher and says, "Life is hard." The philosopher replies, "As compared with what?" As Helen Keeper said, life is either a darling adventure or nothing at all. What is life to you? My biggest goal in life is if you could have a magic wand and accomplish a single big goal of your life, what you want, either short or long term, would have the greatest positive impact on your life. Now complete this sentence. My biggest goal in my career is, or my biggest goal in my family is. There are some of the most profound and important questions you can ever ask and answer for yourself. When you become clear about your answer, which will not be easy, you will be to bring make your time. You can ask yourself what change you would need to make to bring your time, uses and your life priorities more on the alignment or each other. Napoleon Hill observed that life only begins and become great when we decide clearly upon our most important goal in life. What are your most important goals? Think about your vision and mission. One of the best and most profound books written in the last few years in Daniel Kahneman's thinking, Fast and Slow. His insight is that we need to use two different types of thinking to deal and variety of situations we face in our daily lives. Fast thinking is the type of thinking that we use to deal short-term tasks, responsibilities, activities, problems and situations. We act quickly and instinctively. In most cases, fast thinking is entirely appropriate for our day-to-day activities. The second type of thinking the Kahneman describes slow thinking. That's when you step back and take more time to carefully think through the details of the situation before deciding what you are going to do. Kahneman's insight in the failure of engage in slow thinking when it required and necessary in the cause of many mistakes and we make it life. To become excellent in time management and to get your entire life under control, you need to engage in slow thinking on the regular basis. Start with the question what I am trying to do. Think before acting. Very often you can find yourself working extremely hard on your work, but you have not taken the time to stand back and think about what is you really want to accomplish. There are the story of the husband and wife who live in a car trip in San Diego and Los Angeles. He is unfamiliar with the road but driving is full speed in any case. At a certain point, the wife says, "Honey, the furnace of the way, Los Angeles." He then says, "Why do you ask?" She answered, "Well, you just passed a sign that you said we are the road of Phoenix." He replies, "Never mind, we are making great time." Before you step on the accelerator on your own life, you must develop absolute clarity about what you are really trying to accomplish. In the Davis Dictionary, Ambrose Bryce wrote the definition of fanaticism of rebounding your effort after your aim has been forgotten. Is your goal to create a great life? Are you trying to build a great career or accomplish a great piece of work? Your ability to stand back and engage yourself, analysis and introspections, slow thinking is essential for you to recognize your time in such a way what you are most productive and that you are achieving a greatest amount of joy, satisfaction and happiness for your what you do. Keep the end of mind. Be clear about outcomes you desire and Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. What is the final result outcome or accomplishment that you are striving on achieve? Where do you want to end up at the end of the day? As the scrambler of the leader of success, be sure that it is learning against the right building. Are you working so that you can earn money to be secure and to feel happy? Are you working because you love your work or because you feel you are on a mission to accomplish something that is very important? What would your work look like if you accomplished your biggest goal? What is your vision for yourself and your career of work the term? What is your mission? What difference do you want to make in lives of other people? If all you are working for earn money to pay your bills or is ignoring going to be hard for your build up and maintain a high level of competence. and enthusiasm. To be truly happy and fulfilled, you must be working toward accomplishing something that is the bigger than yourself and making difference in the life of work of others. Examine your methodology. When you are clear about what you are trying to do, you must then ask, how am I trying to do? Each time of ask and answer these two questions, you will gain valuable insights that will allow you to look your situation and know whether you are on the right track. Once you are clear about what you are trying to do and how you are trying to do, you must then ask the third question, how is it going? Is what you are doing moving and towards what you want to fastest and most efficient way? Are you happy with your rate of progress and things going well? Are you experiencing too many read books and obstacles of your journey? Most of all, in questions your assumptions. As Peter Duggart said, aren't assumptions lie or root every failure? What are your assumptions about your work and your life? What are your conscious assumptions? What are your unconscious and often unquestioned assumptions? It is amazing how hardworking people are laboring on the basis of false assumptions that they have never questioned. Seek a better way? As you ponder the how it is going questions, you should also be considering another important question. Could there be a better way? The fact is that there are almost always different and better way to achieve a business goal. This other way may be faster, cheaper, easier, and more effective. There is a beautiful line that says, there is more to life than just increasing its speed. Many people are working very hard but going to the wrong direction, on the wrong path. They are not clear about what they are trying to do and where they want to end up, but they don't want to face or deal with the possibility that could be wrong. The process of asking tough questions requires slow thinking, but it can significantly increase the speed and which you achieve your business goals, your vision and mission. Project forward and look backward. What is the most important and valuable work that you do in any field or profession? It's thinking. Your ability to think clearly about what you do and how you do it will have a greater impact on your future results than any other single action you take. There are some areas of your work where slow thinking is absolutely essential for you to perform at your best. Take 30 minutes or more each day to review your goals, your plans, your progress. The best time to do this review is first thing in the morning. Take time to think, plan, dream, and create. All exceptional executives and highly effective men and women set aside this time each day to carefully consider what they are going to do before they begin. You should read, review, reflect, and think about what you are doing before you take action. Over the years, I have read hundreds of biographies and autobiographies of successful men and women in every field. One common thread in these biographies that I discovered was that true greatness only emerges with introspections, retrospections, solitude, and contemplation. You will only achieve the greatness you are capable of when you begin to take time regularly to think about who you are, what you want, and the very best way to achieve it. Take the time to evaluate your life and your activities in a larger context. Think of where you are today, where you want to be in 5 years. Look at the activities you are engaged today and determine which of them can have greatest impact on your future. This way of thinking will allow that to manage your time and much better than you can even imagine at this moment. Sometimes just one good idea gained in a period of solitude or competition can save you months and every years of work hard. Long time perspective. Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard University conducted more than 50 years of research into the attitudes and behaviors of high-performing people, both in America and worldwide. He identified one special quality of seems to separate the highly performers from the low performers. He called it long-time perspective. Banfield found that high performance look the time to think far into the future, often 10 and 20 years, and to develop absolute clarity about where they wanted to be their lives and works at the time. Then they come back and to present and make sure everything they are doing in the moment of consistent with where they want to be in the future. This is powerful technique that you can use to project forward 1, 2 or 3 years and imagine that your life situation in the ideas every way. Create a clear mental picture of what your work situation would be if it were perfect. From this vantage point of the future, look around you and describe your ideal life work situation. Then ask yourself if what you are doing right now and consistent with the creation of your ideal future. From the future vantage point, look back at yourself to where you are today and see the steps that you will need to take to get and where you want to go. This back from the future thinking is the practice of many top executives. Make better decisions in the present. For example, a young woman decides that she wants to be very successful in business in her adult life. With this clear long-term perspective in mind, the individual works many extra hours to get excellent grades in high school so that she will qualify for a good college. In college, the individual takes harder courses and studies much longer, then prepares and graduates as close as possible to the top of her class. As a result of many years of hard work and study and putting off the immediate gratification and practice, sports and social life, the individual graduates at a high level from a prestigious university and then hired by a large company where she has opportunity to get paid more and more promoted faster than classmates who were not really thinking about the future at all. When you are clear about where you want to be sometime in the future, it is much easier for you to make better decisions in the present. The rule that long-term vision improves short-term decision making. You have heard the saying, if you don't know where you are going and any road, you will get there. The habit of developing long-term perspective is quite powerful. By projecting it the future and looking back to the present, you will often to see steps that you could take and mistake that you could avoid. The exercise will help you to crystallize your values. It will give you internal tools to organize your time and activities so that you are doing today what is moving you toward and creation your ideal future. Ready for time management technique? If you are not headed toward your desired destination, you don't want to get there any faster. If you are not moving in your own self-determined direction, there is no point in managing your time in a way and accelerates your speeds of accomplishment. Time management strategies and tricks accomplished without a clear future vision will get you to a destination that holds no interest for you, only faster. Once you are clear about your values, visions and missions for your life and work, you are clear about what is you want to accomplish and the best way to achieve it, then and only then you can begin to apply some of powerful time management techniques that are available to you. Make written plans. All successful time managers are good planners. They make lists and sublists to accomplish its major and minor objective. Whenever a new project crosses their desks, that they take the time to think through exactly what they want to accomplish and then write out an orderly list in sequence of every step necessary for the completion of the project. There is a rule that every minute spent of planning 17 times executions. The time you take to think on paper and something you need to accomplish before you begin work will you a return on personal energy of 1000%, 10 minutes saved for every minute that you invest in planning your work in the first place. Once you are clear about your goal, you then make a list of everything that you can think of you that will have to do achieve that goal. Keep adding new items of the list as you think of them until your list is complete. Organize your list two ways, by sequence and by priority. First, in organizing by sequence, you create a list of activities of chronological order from the first step of the final step before completion of the order or project. As Henry Ford said, the biggest goal can achieve if you simply break it down into enough small parts. Second, you set priorities on these items, accepting that 20% of the items on your list will account for 80% of the value and importance of the things you do. Setting priorities allow you to stay focused on your kept tasks and activities without getting distracted, and Goethe saying, the things that matter most must never be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Review your plan regularly, especially when you experience frustration and resistance of any kind. Be prepared to revise your plans when you receive a new information or feedback. Remember that almost every plan has flaws, both large and small. Continually seek them out. When you review your plans daily, you get new ideas, perspectively, and insights about how to complete the task faster and better than you may have thought initially. Action without planning is the cause of every failure. Resist the temptation to take action before you plan it and thoroughly in advance. Planning for goal achievement. Perhaps the most important words related to success of any kind of clarity. Successful people are very clear about who they are and what they want in every area of their lives. In addition of written goals, successful people have written plan of action they follow every day. Once you have set a larger goal for yourself and your business, there are four questions that you should ask. First of all, what are the difficulties and obstacles that stand between you and achievement of your goals? Why aren't you at your goal already? What is holding you back? What is standing in your way? What problem do you have to solve? What difficulties do you have to overcome to achieve your goal in the end? Of all the problem you need to solve, what is the 20% of the problem that account for 80% of the obstacles between you and your goal? Number two, the additional knowledge, skills, and information are required to achieve your goal to complete your project. Remember the saying, whatever you to where you are today is not enough to get you further. Where you can acquire the additional knowledge and skills that you need to achieve your goal. Can you buy or hire the knowledge or information? Do you need to develop new skills in yourselves? In order to achieve your full potential and your work, what information is essential to making a right decision in the process achieving your goals? As Josh Billing wrote, it's not what a man knows that hurts him, it's what he knows that isn't true. Who are the people, groups, or organizations whose help to cooperation you need in order to achieve your goal? Sometimes a single person can give you ideas and insights or open doors for you, helping you to achieve vastly more than you ever thought possible. It's the same reason many business people enter into joint ventures and strategic alliances with their competitors and order to the product and service each other customers is the just currently offered. And number four, of all people who cannot people achieve your goals, who is the most important person of all? What could you order exchange to gain the person's help and cooperation so that you achieve your important goals even faster? The most important project of business in the world around us are completed by people who make detailed plan of action before they begin. Make written plan for yourself and your business and then follow those plans carefully until they are successful. Chart your projects. Most work in business is a series of projects. Your ability to complete project largely determines your success in your career. A project is defined as a multitask job. A project is a result that requires the completion of a series of many smaller jobs. Perhaps the most powerful tools you can use to minimize your effectiveness and dramatically increase your level of accomplishment is a checklist. A checklist consists of a written series of steps, a chronological order which you create and advance of beginning work as the first place. Your ability to clearly define and determine the 8 steps that you will have to take from where you are today to successfully completed projects in a mark of superior thinking. The rule once again is that every minute spent of planning and creating checklist will save your 10 minutes of executions and getting the job done. This is another example of slow thinking that you can significantly increase your effectiveness and your output and your ultimate value of your business. Create a pie chart. Create a visual representation of your larger tasks of projects so that you and others can see in its totality. Begin by determining the goals of object you must achieve the enjoy and outcomes you desire. Start with the end in mind. Take the time to develop absolute clarity about what your goals would you look like accomplishment or in an excellent fashion. Then work back from the future to the present. Make a list of the logical steps in order that you need to take to get from what you are and where you want to be. The use of part chart, which stands for Program Evaluation Review Technique, that means parts, sets and graphically all the steps you need to take and when each one needs to be finished for you all to achieve the final goals. The technique is used by the most efficient and effective companies and executives worldwide. A part chart enables you to see a variety of ways to achieve the task with greater efficiency. There are most forms of styles available online for you to choose from. Other one example is depicted in the figure. To create the chart for each of your object or goals, draw a line, plotted background and record date completion. Lay it out on the paper so that you can see when you have to accomplish. Create a part of the task in order to have the entire job complete on schedule. By thinking on paper and using a bar chart, you check complete control the sequence of event and you have a track on run on. You have to series a task that you check on accomplishment on schedule of satisfactory level and quality by using bar chart. To avoid every overwhelmed by deadlines, you are always on the top of the major project. If you need something done by the end of the month, you can set your timeline with plenty of caution at the 15th or 20th of month, just in case of unexpected delay or problem arise. And always remember Murphy's law, whenever you go wrong, will go wrong. The superior executive assumes that will be problems, obstacles, unexpected delay, and failures of complete their job by agreed on schedule. These occurrences are a normal and natural part of business life. Your job is keep your finger on the pulse of the project continually and then to solve your problems and remove the obstacles that are bound to rise. Once you begin using a part chart, however, you may be quite amazed at how much more the accomplishment, how many fewer hiccups and conflicts that you between the steps. Set clear goals for everyone. You will accomplish more with clear written goals for each key person involved in the project that you overcome with great conversation and good intention. Make goals clear, specific, measurable, and time-bounded. Remember that what gets measured gets done. A goal without a deadline is not really a goal. It's a material decision. For every goal or sub-goal in the competition of a job or project, you must assign responsibility of a specific person. Who is going to perform this task? When does the task need to be accomplished and to what extent to quality? Always ask this question. Never assume that people know what you want unless you have made it perfectly clear. General Motors went from massive losses of bankruptcy in 2009, yeah, to a $4 billion profit in 2012. Dan Akerson, the president of GM, said that the most important part of the company turnaround was the setting of clear goals for key person and at each every level organization before taking the position. He found the goals throughout the organization were value unclear, unforced, and rarely achieved. The establishing clear specific goals of all employees knew exactly what they had to do, keep their job and move ahead. Remember, the most wonderful challenge you have is your ability to think, especially to think things through in advance. The more time you take to think and plan on paper, better results you will get and faster you will those results. Create your daily to-do list. Perhaps the most powerful time management tools is a daily list of activities that you create to serve and blueprint for your day. All successful time managers think on paper and work a daily list of activities. Just a pilot uses a checklist before every takeoff. Effective executives take a few minutes to create a to-do list before they begin every day. The best time to make a list is the night before your subconscious mind can work on your list while you sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, you will often have ideas and insights to help out you achieve some of the most important goals on your list. At the end of each day, the last thing you do should be planned out of the next day. In a study is more than 50 highly effective corporate executives, 49 of the 50 said, and the best time management system they had ever found was a simple pad on paper, which wrote down everything they had to do before they began. Sleep better. Many people touch and turn at night trying not to forget something they have to do following day. If you create a list before you go to bed, writing down everything you have planned for the coming work day, you will sleep for better and awake more refreshed. According to the time management specialties, it takes about 20 minutes each day to write out a daily list of your tasks for that day. But this list will save you 10 times the amount of time and improve productivity. 20 minutes spent in preparing a daily list will give you a payback of 120 minutes or 2 hours to increase productivity when you actually begin to work. That's an incredible payoff for such a simple task. The ABCDE method. Once you have made up a list everything that you have planned to do the next day, organize your list by applying the ABCDE method to your activities. The most important word in the time management in consequence. A task is important depending on the potential consequence of doing it, not only doing it. When you set priorities, you apply this principle. Every task, you always begin with the task and great consequence. This is where ABCDE method is especially helpful. Begin by making a list everything you have to do following day. Then write an A, B, C, D or E next to each item on your list before you begin work. An item that marks A is something you must do. It is something that is important and there are serious consequences for either doing it or not doing it. Put A next to those tasks and activities that you must accomplish in the course of the day if you are not fulfill your responsibilities. B item is those things you should do. There are mild sequence for doing by tasks or not doing. They are not as important as activities A. The rule in the you never do a B activity when there A activity left undone. C activities are nice to do, but they have no consequence either positive or negative. Chatting with a coworker Getting an extra cup of coffee or checking your email are things that are nice to do, often fun and enjoyable. But whether or not you do, time has no consequence at all terms of your effectiveness at your job. Time was a great career. Robert Half International estimates that as much as 50% of working time is spent on C activities. Things that make no contribution all those business. Each person to creature to have it effective people establish good habits and make them their masters. Ineffective people accidentally establish bad habits and then those bad habits govern their lives. Many people get into the habit coming work and immediately engaging the time. Low value, no value activities. As soon as they arrive, they find something so that chat with, read the newspaper, check their email, get a cup of coffee, and generally begging question easily thrown by the day. And whatever you do repeatedly soon becomes a habit. It is unfortunate that the great majority of people at work today have established the habit of wasting most of their time on activities that contribute nothing to their business or to their careers. Don't let this happen to you. Delegate everything possible. Getting back to the ABCDE method, D is activity, something that you can delegate to someone else. The rule is that you should delegate everything that you possibly can to other people to free up more time for you. Engage your time and activities. Your activities that a successful competition largely determine the entire course of your career, and e-activity is something that you should eliminate altogether. After all, you can only get your time under control if you stop doing things that are no longer necessary for you to do. It is normal and natural for people to slip into a comfort zone, and in the course of their work and career, they become comfortable doing certain activities and certain way. Even after they have been promoted to higher level responsibilities, they continually slip back into on they are no longer really necessary or other people to do equally as well or better. And ask yourself what would happen if I did not engage their activity at all. If you would make little or no difference or your business or career, it is prime candidate for elimination. Plan your work and work your plan. Never do anything that it is not your list. If a new task or project comes up, write it down on your list and set the priority for it before you start work on it. If you don't write down in new ideas and activities and incentives react and respond to the non-stop demands on your time, you will quickly lose control of your day and end up spending most of your time and activities of low or no value. Any time management system is better than no time management system at all. There are many smartphone apps and to help to manage your time. There are time management systems that you can install on your computer. You can use a Regent time management system that you can carry with you and upgrade regularly. Just remember that in the world you work, the only things you have to sell your time. Be sure that you focusing your time on the most valuable and important things that you can do make the most important contribution to your business. The not to-do list. Just as you need to-do list to guide you through a busy day, you need a not or to-do list to help keep on your track. These are things that you decide in advance that you are not doing no matter how tempting they may be when they come up. As Nancy Reagan once said, just say no to any activity that does not represent the highest value of your time. No is the greatest time-saving word in the world of time management. And once you start using this word, it gets easier and easier to say. Remember, people are greatest time waster of all. When people ask you if you would do something to help them and out in some way, ask yourself, would this be most valuable use of my time right now? If the answer is no, you can graciously reply, well, thank you. for asking, "Let me think about it and look at my schedule. I will get back to you and let you know whether or not I can help you." You can wait 24 hours, then contact the person and say that unfortunately you are swamped the work and deadlines at this point and you won't be able to help out. Thank the person for asking for your assistance and suggest that maybe next time you will have an opening in your calendar. Remember, you can only get your time under control if you stop doing things of low value. As they say, your dance card is already full. You already have vastly more work and you can ever get done. You will never get catch up on your current tasks and responsibilities, let alone an additional task responsibilities to follow to you every single day. Instead, just say no. Say it clearly and say it often. In no time at all, you will have your time completely under your own control. Set clear priorities. I have studied time management for more than 30 years, reading hundreds of books and articles on the subject, listening and to countless audio programs, and attending seminars. Using the idea that I have assumed I have written books of my own on time management that the worldwide bestsellers, products audio and video learning programs and conducted seminars of workshops on time management all over the world. What I discovered was simple. All the time management boils down to helping you determine the most important tasks that you can do at the moment. They giving you tools and techniques to begin immediately with the one task so can you keep working on it until it is complete. I explained ABCDE method in the last chapter. It is one of the most powerful priority setting methods ever discovered. There are a series of additional techniques that you can also use to set priorities. The Pareto principle. In 1895, Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto concluded that 80-20 rule seems to apply the money, property, and accumulation of the fortunes in every society. After years of research, he discovered that 20% of individuals' families, those he called vital few, and control 80% of the wealth and property throughout Europe. The 80-20 rule seems to apply to almost all areas human endeavor, especially tasks and responsibilities. That is 20% of the work that you would do account and 80% of the value of all work you do. Peter Drucker says that often it is the 90-10 rule. Sometimes 10% of the work that you do will account for 90% of the value. When you start off each day with a list of your tasks and responsibilities, before beginning work, quickly review your list and select the top 20% of the tasks that you can make greatest contribution to achieving your most important goals and objectives. If you have a list of 10 items of accomplished on the particular day, 2 of those items will be worth more than all of other put together. Your ability to clearly identify those two items of act on them first will largely determine your success in your career. Put on the pressure. Here's another technique that you can use for setting priorities. Make up your daily list and activities. Then ask yourself, if I were called out of town for a month, starting tomorrow, what activities on this list would I want to be sure to complete before I left town? The greatest enemy of the time management and personal productivity today, the majority in minor because of the natural tendency for each person to follow the path of least resistance and settle into a comfort zone. It is normal and natural for people to begin with small, easy, fun, enjoyable, and usually unimportant tasks and activities at the beginning of the day. But alas, whatever you start doing the beginning of the day quickly becomes the pattern that you will follow in the hours ahead. By the end of the day, you find that you have spent all of your time on small and meaningless tasks and you will have accomplished nothing to real value. Get more important things done. Another technique you can use is to imagine to do come into work on Monday morning and your boss approaches you with a dilemma. He has just on fully paid vacation for two people with first class airfare and beautiful resort. His problem is that he is too busy to take advantage of this price, but it is time dated. It must be used starting first thing tomorrow morning. Your boss makes you a deal. If you can get all of your most important home done by the end of Monday, he will give you your spouse this wonderful experience paid vacation. If you had this kind of incentive or motivation, what would you do? You would probably be associated to how much work you could get done in that single day. You would probably complete the top 20% on the tasks you had planned for the entire week. With this kind of an incentive, you would not waste a single minute. You would have no time at all for idle conversation that with your coworkers. You would start early and immediately work through coffee breaks and lunch. Concentrate single-mindedly on clearly on decks by completing your most important tasks. You would become one of the most productive people in your organization virtually overnight. This is a great exercise for you to practice on yourself. The exercise just illustrates the fact that your efficiency and effectiveness is largely a matter of choice. With a sufficient incentive, you would be associated at how productive that you could be virtually in few minutes. With a sufficient incentives with a decision on your path, you would almost immediately become one of the more valuable people in your organization. The law of three. The principle is probably worth the cost and time of reading this book. It is based on amazing discovery that I have made over the years, working with many thousands of executives and business owners. It is that no matter how many different things you do in a week or a month, there are only three tasks and activities that account for 90% of the value of the contribution you make to your business. If you make a list of every day you do in the course of a month, it will probably include 20, 30, or even 40 different tasks and responsibilities. But if you review that list carefully, item by item, you will find that only three items on your entire list account of 90% of your value to your business. How do you determine your big three? Simple. Make a list of your work, tasks, and responsibilities for the first day of the month, of the last day, and throughout the years. Then answer these three magic questions. If I could only do one thing on this list all day long, which one activity on contribute the greatest value of my business? Your most important task, the one accounts for greatest contribution you can make your business, will probably pop out and at you from the list. It will usually be quite clear to you as it is clear to the people around you. Put a circle around them item. If I could only do two things on this list all day long would be second activity would make a greatest contribution of my business. Usually this item will jump out at you as well. It may require a little bit more thought, but it is usually clear and obvious. If I could only do three things on this list a day long, that would be third activity would contribute the most value of my business. When you analyze your answer, you will clearly see that only three things you do account for almost all the value that you contribute. Starting and completing this task is more important than everything else you do. Here an important point. If you do not know the answer of these three questions, you are in serious trouble. Serious troubles. You are in great danger of wasting your time and your life at work. If you do not know the answer of these three magic questions, you will always end up working on lower value, often no value activities. If you are unclear for any reason, go to your boss. Ask your boss things are the three most important things they you do to make your most valuable contribution at work. Ask your co-workers, ask your spouse, but whatever you do, you must know the answer of the three questions. Pass it along. Once you are clear about your big three, you must help the people who report to you gain clearly about the big three as well. There is no kinder or more genius things that you can to do your staff member that you help them become absolutely clear about the most important things that you do make the most valuable contribution of your business. In a well-managed department or organization, employees know exactly what the most important things that could be make a greatest contribution. At the same time, every worker should know that every worker, big there are, big three, all day, every day, everyone should work both alone and together to complete one and more those three big tasks. People who are dominated by fast thinking naturally react and respond to the demand and pressure of the moment. This continually wears of tasks and avoid working their highest priority tasks. But this practice is not for you. Before you begin work, take some time to think slowly, select your most important tasks, and then start work on the tasks to the exclusions or stay on track. What is the most valuable use of my time right now? Because it is the most important question in all time management. Ask it over and over again until it becomes an automatic guide that motivates and drives you to focus on your highest value tasks on activity. When you organize all of your time and work activities around the answer to this question, you will be astonished how much more productive you become and how quickly. Sometimes I ask my audience, what is your most valuable financial asset? After they have thought it over and given me a couple of answers, I point out that, and the answer is actually your earning ability. Your ability to earn money represents as much as 80% to 90% of your financial value. In the world of work, think of yourself as an earning machine. Every task that you work on contributes a value of some kind, either high or low. Your job is to focus on your valuable use of your time to the discipline yourself and continually work those few activities that contribute the greatest value of your time, work and your business. A lifestyle principle. The selection of most valuable use of your time applies to area of your life as well. Sometimes the most valuable use of your time, especially if you are working extremely hard, is to go home, to go to bed early and get a good night's sleep. Sometimes the most valuable use of your time is to spend it face to face with the important people in your life. Sometimes the most valuable use of your time is take excellent care of your physical health by eating the right foods, taking time to get exercise regularly, and getting the proper rest and relaxation that you need to perform at your best. Sometimes the most valuable use of your time is just to spend it with your family, to read a good book rather than watching television. At other times, the most valuable use of your time will be socialized to get together with family and friends, those company you enjoy so that you can relax and distress. What matters most if is for you to always be asking yourself this question: what is the most valuable use of my time right now? And then you discipline yourself to start and complete that activity. Whatever it is, when you begin the important that is suggestion into your time management skills and your day, you will become one of the most efficient time manager of your generation. The important versus the urgent. The terms of your tasks and activities, setting priorities in the largely about separating the vital few from trivial many. There are four different types of tasks that you are faced off with every day. Your ability to sort out these tasks into their proper categories does significantly increase your productivity. Each of these tasks can be put into different box or quadrant. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. The important task is something that has long-term consequence for your career. An urgent task is something that cannot be delayed or put off. A task that is both urgent and important is something that you in your face. It is largely determined by external demands on your time, by tasks and responsibilities that you must start to complete in order to keep on top of your job. There are people you have to see, things that you have to do, and places that you have to go. There are customers to visit, tasks to complete, and activities that others and expecting you to accomplish. Most people spend most of their working day on tasks that are both vital and urgent. Your most important tasks, your highest priorities, and both urgent and important. It is called quadrant and immediacy. Quadrant 2. Important but not urgent. The second type of tasks are those that are important and not urgent. This can be delayed and procrastinated upon and left for the short term. An example of a task that is vital but not urgent. An important report that you must have written, approved, and submitted by the end of the month. Or think about a college term paper. It is something that is vital of your grade at the end of the semester, but it is also something that can be put off for weeks and months, and often. Most term papers are written the night before the deadline. What was the one overall vital but not urgent suddenly becomes very urgent indeed. Throughout your life, you are surrounded by important but not urgent tasks. Reading important books in your field, taking additional courses, upgrading your skills and abilities, and the vital of your long-term success, but they are not urgent. So the procrastinate doing them. Most people who fail to underachieve the business have unfortunately put off upgrading their skills and abilities for so long that they are simply passed over the surface by others. More determined and aggressive people who want to enjoy greater rewards and responsibilities. Even something as simple as physical exercise is vital to your health, but not urgent. You can put it off for an intended period of time, and most people do. Doctor says that 80% of major health problems that people have later of life could have been avoided if they had engaged in proper health habits, including diet and exercise. For most of the adult life, these tasks fall into the quadrant and effectiveness. Quadrant 3. Urgent but not important. You probably have people coming into your office, calling or messaging you, sending you emails, but your response to them contribute little or no value to your business or your work. They represent tasks that are urgent but not important. These tasks fall into they are often called quadrant and delusions. People think that people they are engaging in these activities during the working day they must have some value, but they are just kidding themselves into career relevance. But people spend much time, half of the time engaging in activities and they are urgent but not important. They are fun, easy, and enjoyable, but they make no contribution to work at all. Most of these activities involve idle conversation with co-workers and no value activities. Quadrant 4. Not urgent and not important. The fourth type of activity that people engage at the work and those tasks and neither urgent or not important. These activities fall into quadrant of waste. Many people engage the activities and have zero value of either themselves or the company. Reading email spams or reading a sports pages, going shopping during the day, driving around between appointments, listening to the radio. All that examples and activities and neither urgent. Between appointment listens and contribute nothing in your life. They are a waste of time. Develop good work habits. The great tragedy is that if you do something repeatedly, you soon develop a habit, and a habit once formed are hard to break. Many people have developed the habit of spending most of their time on low value, no value activities and are quite astonished when they are laid off and their jobs are passed over the promotion. The key to good time management is for you set priorities and good to always be working on the both urgent and important. That is your most pressing and important tasks. Once you are catch up with your tasks and urgent, important, and immediately start work on those tasks that are important but not urgent at that moment. The tasks that are important but not urgent are usually those tasks and activities that can contribute to your career and meaningful way in the long term. Determine your key result areas. Perhaps the most important key to high productivity is for you to focus and concentrate on the most valuable and important things you can do all day long. Developing absolute clarity about your key result areas is essential for executive effectiveness and high productivity. Your key result areas are those things that you have been hired to do, accomplish, achieve. There are your top priorities in terms of the value that you contribute to your business. These are the tasks that once accomplished, determine whatever or not you fulfill your responsibilities to your company and to yourself. What are the key results that you have been hired to accomplish? Try asking the question another way. Why are you on the payroll? This is the key organizing question that you should be asking yourself every minute or every day, especially when you are overwhelmed by too much to do and too little time. A key result area can be defined as having three specific qualities. First of all, it is something that you absolutely positively must do to fulfill responsibilities and demands of your job. Secondly, it is something for which you are 100% responsible, and if you do not do it yourself, there is no one else who can or will do you for you. And number third, it is important, it is something that is completely under your control. Do you not need to assistance or participation of your something else in order to complete this part of work? If you are not sure exactly what your key result areas might be, go to your boss and ask. Ask your boss, why exactly am I on the payroll? Surprisingly enough, most bosses wouldn't know how to answer this question. Either they have never thought through why you are on the payroll, or even why they themselves are on the payroll. When you ask the question and force your boss to think it through, you will both become more productive and effective in your work. Keep on track. A second question with regard to key result areas. When can I only do that? If done really well, will make a real difference to my organization. As it happens, there is a specific answer to the question for virtually every hour of every day. In your work, there are things that only you can do. If you do them, no one else will do them for you. If you do them, it will make an extraordinary difference to your job and to your company. These are the specific activities that contribute the greatest value to your work. For you to perform at the highest level, you must be absolutely clear about what those activities are. They are more valuable than any others, which only you can perform to destination. Remember, there are always 100 little things that you can do it, if done well, will make very little difference to your success or to your contributions. Focusing on the key result areas is the most direct way to unleash effectiveness, power, persuasion, enthusiasm, and energy. You always a great tremendous feeling and self-confidence and personal power from completing something that is significant and important both to you and your company. On the other hand, in the age of distraction, you actually experience feeling and low self-esteem, frustration, stress, and often depression when you are doing something that you heard and you know makes a little difference to achieving your major goals. Define your key result. There are seldom more than 5 to 7 key result areas in any job. Each key result area is a specific task that you must do if you are not complete the overall output responsibilities of your work. For example, if you are a salesperson, your key result areas are prospecting, finding a new customers to talk to, building tracks and report with prospects so that they are open to listening you, identifying needs accurately, presenting your product persuasively, answering objections clearly, closing the sales decisively, and getting results and referrals from satisfied customers. Each of the tasks must be done in order for you to fulfill your responsibilities. To as a salesperson for your company or as a manager, you have 7 key result areas or they are planning, organizing, recruiting, relegating, supervising, measuring, reporting. First of all, planning, deciding exactly what should be done, organizing, bring together the people, money, resource and needed fulfill the plan. Recruiting, finding the right people to work with you and achieve the goal. Delegating, making sure that people know exactly what they are supposed to do and at what time and to what level of quality. Supervising, making sure that each job is done scheduled and required every level of quality. Measuring, setting standard benchmark plus timelines and accomplishment important tasks. Reporting, making sure that each person above you, next to you, and below you knows exactly what it is that you are doing and achieving. More than 90% of your problems management or in life are from dropping the ball in one of these key results in the living of important ingredient. It is a kitchen recipe. For some reason, a dish simply does not taste as good as it could. Clarity is essential. Everyone at every level of the organization should know what his or her key results are, but sure that employees who report to you are clear about the most valuable contribution that they can make the organization. One of the greatest kindness that you can give your employees is to help them and crystal clear about the most valuable and important things and they can do and that you help them achieve those goals on time. No matter where you are in your organization chart, you need to know two things. First, what are your boss key result areas? What is that your boss has accomplished that is more important and the success of the organization than anything else? If you don't know the answer of this question, you cannot help your boss get his or her job done, which is very important to your own personal success. Second, you need to know what your own key result areas are. Furthermore, each person who reports to you must know the answer to the question about you as well as each of your surroundings must also know that what their key results areas are in order to importance when they need to be accomplishment. Delegates to other. One of the greatest time management tools is for you to get someone else to do tasks completely. Your ability to delegate lower value tasks to others who can do them at a lower hourly rate or salary is one of the vital skills of modern management. Delegates everything you possibly can to others who can do the tasks as well as or better than you. Use the 70% rule. If someone else can do a particular task 70% as well as this job is a prime candidate for you to get off to plate on the person's plate. Multiply your value. Delegation enables you to move from what you can do personally to what you can manage. Delegation is the skill that allows you leverage your talent and skills multiply it times all the people who can given smaller parts of the work. You always have a choice. You can do it yourself or you can have someone else do it. High productivity requires that you always think in terms of the latter approach. Who else can do the job rather than me? Delegation is learnable. Learn is the skill of proper delegation. I have written an entire mini book of this series of that tells everything you need to know to maximize your productivity through other people. Choose the right person to handle its tasks. Provide timelines, deadlines, standard of performance, and a review schedule. You can also delegate problem solving and decision making if they are among your duties and responsibilities. You can delete information gathering and research. You can delete every task that anyone else can do as well as or almost as well as you. With the skill of delegation, which is readily runnable and it's no limit that you cannot reach your professional career. But without the ability of delegates efficiency and well, you will always end up with the too do or too little time. You will end up doing too many things or low value or no value. You will never get catch up on top of your job and this can haunt your career. The best news is that all business skills are learnable. Every idea in this book is something that you can master with practice and repetition. You can become absolutely excellent at managing your time. Go on and double your triple productivity on the months and years ahead. Concentrate single-mindedly. Concentration and single handling are essential requirements for all great achievement. Concentration means that once you start on your most important tasks to your resolve and preserve without diversion and distraction your ability to concentrate single-mindedly on the most important use of your time in the number of requirements for success. You could meet every other requirement with intelligence, ability, and creativity. But if you cannot concentrate on one thing at a time, that you cannot be successful. You need to do first things first, one of these in at a time, and second things at all. If you do not discipline yourself to concentrate single-mindedly, you will invariably find yourself working on low-priority tasks. Always allow enough time for your job priorities. Figure out how much time is going to take to do job and then add 30% as a caution to check in account unsuspected interruptions, emergencies and responsibilities. With a 30% caution, we will probably be quite close to work. It is one of the secrets to achieving high level of productivity in your work. Al Nightingale says that every great accomplishment in life has been preceded by long sustained period of concentration. Practice single handling. Single handling is one of the most important of all time management techniques and life management principle. Once you start a task, you stay with it until in 100% complete. Single handling requires that you do not continue picking up and putting down the same task over and over, going off to something else and then coming back. With single handling, once you pick up a task and being on it, you discipline yourself to bring it completion before you go on the next task. Apply single handling to your mail and correspondence. Deselect unimportant items immediately and then deal with the important documents only once, either by filling or responding on to them right away. The principle of single handling, made famous by time management expert Alan Jekyll, comes from time and motion studies, comparing the output of people who concentrate single-mindedly versus the output of people who weakened back and forth on the task, going away and returning to that task many times. That course of task completion, what the studies found was each time you put down a task and turn on to something else, you lose momentum and rhythm, and you lose track when where you were doing that job. When you come back to the task, you have no choice but to review your previous work, catch up, and points where you were when you broke off and begin again. The process turned out to require as much 500% of the amount of the time otherwise necessary to complete tasks. If you had started with it and stayed with it until it was 100% complete. In simple terms, single handling can reduce the time you spend completing an important task by as much as 80% and dramatically increase the quality of finished work. Avoid multitasking. There is a good deal of argument today over the concept of multitasking. Some people feel that they are quite capable of performing a high level of productivity while they are working on several tasks at once. The studies have now proven the idea is totally false. What the experts have discovered that multitasking is actually task shifting. The fact is that you can only do one thing at a time. If you stop doing one task and turn another task, you must shift all of your attention and energy to the new task. When you turn back to previous tasks, you are simply marking a shift of attention, like pointing and light beam from one target to another. Then you must bring yourself up to speed on the old tasks before you get started again. Bump and jumper. According to USA, today is time you shift from one task to another and back again. You burn up a certain amount of brain energy and intelligence. At the end of a busy day of multitasking, you can lose as many as 10 IQ points. So you become progressively dumber throughout the day, ending the day feeling burnt out and often safe about the smallest thing, such as what you want to have for dinner or watch on television that evening. Multitasking and templating, but it is an industrious use of time. It can actually sabotage your career and undermine your ability to accomplish that most important task upon which all your success depends. Decide and concentrate. Resolve today to make a habit to plan your work carefully. Set priorities and then begin on your most important tasks. Once you have begun on your top tasks or output, resolves that you will work single-mindedly without diversions and distraction until that task is complete. One of the techniques used by highly productive executives to work at home in the morning or evening or on weekend. You can concentrate single-mindedly without interruption of any kind. Another key to single-minded concentration is avoid the attraction or distraction. Instead to responding every email or ring on your phone, even off, level things off. Close your door or close your door, turn off all your device and put everything aside so that you can work on the one task that you make greatest difference to your company and your career. At this point, when you make that habit and productivity performance and output will double, triple and almost overnight. Overcome procrastination. It has been said that procrastination is the thief of time. A wise man is one of the seminar expanded on the saying, procrastination is the thief of life. Your ability over procrastination and to get the job done on schedule can make all difference between success and failure in your career. However, the fact that everyone has too much to do too little time, but everyone procrastinates. What the difference between the high producer and low producer? Simple. The high producer procrastinates on tasks and activities of low or no value, but low producer procrastinates on tasks that considerable value of the company and the individual own career. For you to produce as your maximum in your must resolve to engage in creative procrastination from this day forward. Consciously and deliberately decide which tasks you are going to put off. Look at your list and work for the day and choose those items that you are not going to do until you have completed the other items and are vastly most important. You must work consciously and deliberately instead to put procrastination and accidentally and automatically. We always tend to procrastinate on our biggest tasks, which are usually our highest value tasks. On it as well, there are a series of techniques that you can use to overcome or last minute procrastination. In fact, there are libraries full of books, one or two of them written by myself. On the subject of overcoming procrastination, they have some good ideas that right away. Mental programming. Do it now. These are perhaps the almost powerful words that you can use to increase your productivity. Whenever you find yourself procrastination on the important tasks, repeat yourself with energy and enthusiasm. Do it now, do it now, do it now. An amazing discovery is that after you have repeated this word 10 and 20 or even 100 times, you will find yourself unconsciously implemented to stay in your most important task and complete that new job before you do anything else. Completing larger tasks. Henry Ford wrote, any goal can be achieved if you break it down into enough small parts. A big task that you have to complete can be completed if you break it down into enough small parts. One of the best techniques of all it is divided into tasks into bite-sized pieces. Take a pieces on paper and write down every small parts of the task that you have to do in sequence from the first little job to the final job and complete the task. Then discipline yourself to do number one on your list. Sometimes the decision to take action on the first step on a large task make the easier for to do next step and the next step and next step as well. Sometimes just forcing yourself to start a major task will help you to develop the momentum and energy necessary to work right through until the task is complete. The salami slice method. A variation of bite-sized pieces technique for overcoming procrastination is called salami slide method. Just as you would not try to eat a loaf of salami on bite, you do not try to do large tasks on the time period. Instead, you salami slide tasks. You reduce the size on the task by slicing on one small part at a time. You then resolve a complete that one small parts before you go to something else. Each time you sit down with your major task, especially if you are overwhelmed when pressing responsibilities, resolve to complete one part of the task of a time. Often this strategy will get you started on the project and make it easier to complete parts 2, 3, 4 and so on. Developed a sense of urgency. One of the rarest and most valuable qualities in the world of the work is a sense of urgency. It is estimated that only about 2% of people move quickly to get the job done. When you develop a reputation for having an action orientation for getting the job done quickly, you will move on to the fast track in your career. When 300 chief executive officers and asked that employees could do put themselves on the fast track in their corporations, 85% of the top executives had the same reply. The most important qualities they looked for were the ability to set priorities and two, the ability to start on the most important job and get done quickly as well. When you develop a reputation for starting on your most important tasks and completing them quickly and well, you will be happily surprised and wonderful opportunities that will open up for you. Create blocks of time. You require unbroken blocks of time for maximum accomplishment. The more important your work is, the more important it becomes for you to establish blocks to time to work on serious projects. You need a maximum of 60 to 90 minutes to accomplish everything or anything worthwhile. It takes about 30 minutes just to get your mind into a complex task, like preparing a proposal, report, or even planning important project. Once you are into the task, you can concentrate single-mindedly and at a high level of awareness, creativity for the next 60 minutes or more serious focused work. Don't mix creative and administrative. You cannot mix creative tasks with functional and administration tasks. You cannot really do operational tasks and creative tasks simultaneously. They require fast and slow thinking, but not both. Office activities require fast, short-term thinking. Creative tasks require slow planning and application. Think of creating times as your internal prime time and operational time as your external prime time, and don't mix them up. You cannot do big creative job requiring focus and concentrate a typical office environment unless you put up or do not disturb sign on the door. Otherwise, you must be creative the finding way to get away from your work environment so that you can complete the tasks and your career really depends on. How to create chunks of the time? Here are several recommendations for creating blocks of time, anytime which dramatically improve your effectiveness and efficiency. First, work in the morning when you are freshest and most alert. Many of the most productive people in business discipline themselves and go to bed early and arise 5 or 6 am so that they can work for 60 to 90 minutes uninterrupted before they go into the office. Even if you get into the office a bit late, in those 90 minutes of uninterrupted work, you will accomplish as much as the average person does an office environment in 3 hours. Another time that you can your advantage in lunch time. This is great opportunity for you to shut off your phone and turn on your internet connection and remove other distraction while everyone else is out of the office having lunch. You will have 60 straight minutes of peace and quiet where you can work single-mindedly in clear up some of the most important tasks. Do not disturb. Another strategy you can use is close to your office door for certain periods every day during which is work single-mindedly on your biggest tasks. Many executives will get do not disturb sign from a hotel and hang it in your door handle at work. Everyone knows that while this sign is do not door or no one is allowed to interrupt there except in this case of real emergency. My controller is a talented and skilled woman. Complained to me she was overwhelmed with non-stop interruptions from different people. As a result, she was unable to get her detailed in accounting work done and send out her financial statements and reports on schedule. After I recommended that she put a do not disturb sign on her door and work non-stop for 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon without interruption, and it's transformed her work life. She told me afterward that within a few days she was totally caught up. Even more, none of these interruptions turned out to be so important that they couldn't wait for later time. Gain extra hours. Here is yet another great technique and virtually all executives on the fast track use. It is so simple that it should be illegal. Get up a little earlier and arrive your office on an hour before everyone else. Use that hour to organize your day and to get started before that you are any possible interruption. Then work through lunch and gain one of the more hour to productivity. Finally, stay 1 hour later after everyone else has gone home and use that time of up your day and complete your most important tasks. This is an emerging technique by adjusting your day, and this way you beat the traffic on your way to work and you beat the traffic on the way home. In between, you add 3 productive hours to each working day. You accomplish 2, 3, or even 5 much as average person who work regular hours. With this strategy, you can double your output and transform your career. Remember, you are potential genius on the green areas where you can demonstrate your creativity, and in creating blocks of the time you can get more done and start moving ahead faster in your career. Control interruptions. Unexpected and unscheduled interruptions are among the biggest time wasters in business and industry. These interruptions can be in the form of bell going off your computer and telephone ringing, an SMS message coming in on your smartphone, or people just walking into your office because they need to work. It turns out the people are the greatest time waster in all of the world. As much as 50% of time in work is spent in idle chit-chat with near co-workers. Many people come into work in the morning and begin chit-chat waiting with their coworkers and then continue for the next 2 and 3 hours. In many environments, people don't really start serious working about 11 a.m. and then soon it is time to break for lunch. After lunch, they come back and chit-chat with their co-workers, some more not getting back into job until 1:30 to 2 p.m. Work all time you work. The rule of you is to work all time you work. When you go to your workplace, begin work immediately. Do not chat with others, read the newspaper or surf the internet. Since you planned out your day and evening before, you begin immediately on your most important tasks and keep working task by task until you get most important job done. Minimize interruption. When someone phones, you cut to the chase immediately. Say something like, "Hello Bill, it's nice to hear your voice. What can I do for you?" Get right to the point. Don't waste your time. Before you call Bill, quickly write out an agenda of the points you want to cover in your phone call. When you get Bill on the line, you say, I know how busy you are. I have 3 points that I need to go over with you, and then I will let you get back to work. This approach is both polite and professional. Most busy business people are going to appreciate your getting to the point quickly and getting off the phone. When someone comes into your office to chat, you can say, I would love to talk with you right now, but I really have to get back to work. I have to complete this task by this afternoon. Whenever you say those magic words, I have to get back to work, the other person will pack up and leave. Stand up immediately. To minimize the time of cost unexpected interruptions. When someone comes into your office, stand up and approach the other person saying something like, I was just on my way out. What can I do for you? Then you walk with the person out of your office and back into the hallway, talking and listening. When the person has finished talking, you then let him go back and to his work, and you return to your office and your work. Another technique is to check outside visitors to separate meeting room, and rather than beginning them into your office, then you politely set a time limit and beginning of the discussion by saying something such as, I have an important call coming. Inform our urgent agent in London at exactly 3:15. I can get out of the appointment. I'm sure we can cover everything we need to cover by that time. In this book, the effective executive, Peter Drucker, makes the point that not only do people waste your time, but you waste the time of other people. He suggests that you have to car to go as you ask other people, what do I do that wastes your time? When you invite people to be perfectly honest with you answering this question, you will be quite amazed, and the ideas you will hear help increase their efficiency and effectiveness. You earn as well. Batch your tasks. Batching your tasks simply means doing similar things at the same time. There is a learning curve in everything you do. When you complete a series, similar or identical tasks all in a row, the learning curve allows you to reduce the time required to complete each task by as much as 80% by the time you complete the fifth identical task. For example, in writing letter and correspondence or answering email, you bundle them all together and do them the same time. Your best, your telephone calls, and return them all in a row. If you will have to interview a number of people, interview them consecutively and after another. Do all your similar tasks at the same time rather than doing a little bit now and little bit later. Use email as a servant. How you deal with the email is going to have a major impact on your career. There are some people who are slaves to their email, and they have bill that goes off each time a new email comes, and whatever they are doing, they turn immediately to their inbox to check on the message. In effect, they switch tasks and they return on what it was they or do immediately, losing momentum, clarity, and output in their most important tasks. Tim Ferriss, in his best-selling book, The 4-Hour Week, our work week, explain how he went from being a self-or to his email 12 to 14 hours a day to mastering the process completely. First, he decided to only answer his email twice a day, and 11 o'clock in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. Then he went from twice a day to once a week, everyone answering email once a week. His efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity and income increases. Julie Morgenstern, the time management expert, wrote a book called Never Check Email in the Morning. This title and every idea comes as a shock to most people. They can wait. Some of the people most productive I know have an automatic response on their email. It reads something like this. I only answer my email twice a day because of my busy schedule. If you have sent me an email, I will go back as soon as I possibly can. If this is an emergency, call this number and speak to this person. A busy journalist told the story of going to Europe 2 weeks. His email was inaccessible for entire time. When he returned, he had more than 700 messages waiting for him. He knew that it would take him many hours, even several days, to go through 700 emails, so he took a deep breath and pressed delete all. His attitude was simple. He said, I refuse to be the self of any person who sent me an email. Accepting me realized immediately. Besides, it's any of these emails are important. Whoever sent the email will send it again. And he was right. 90% of the email and deleted or never repeated, and that once he deleted was important ones or resent within a few days. Make a decision not to allow your email to control your life, like the tail wagging of dog. Instead, discipline yourself to email as a business tool. Make your response quite to the point. Check your email only twice a day or less frequently. Even better, leave your email and we can spend more time of the family friends engaged in personal activities. The good news is that you will probably never miss important messages. There are very few days happens control with another day or two, especially in business. Manage the telephone. The telephone can be an excellent servant or terrible master, especially if you feel compelled to answer whenever it rings. To achieve maximum productivity, you must put the telephone in its place so that you do not end up to slave the anyone who dials your number. The best way to get control to your telephone calls is have all screened by your administrative assistant. Otherwise, put your phone on silence or let call to your voicemail. There are a few calls or messages cannot wait until it is more convenient for you to turn your attention and dealing with them. One of the reasons that why we are becoming self to attraction or distraction of curiosity. We cannot stop ourselves from wondering who is sending us a message or who and the other end on the telephone. The only way to resist the temptation not to be distracted if you turn off in your phone completely so that you don't even hear it ring. Whenever you are meeting with staff and subordinates or with your boss or with your clients, you have called help. Turn off your phone and cell phone. Allow or interruptions whatever the seldom anything so important that it is not worth. 10 minutes of uninterrupted time and conversation with another individual will be more productive and 30 or 40 minutes with the phone ringing the answer throughout your conversation. Later you can call people back one after another. Once your call. If you have to make a series of phone calls and to course the day, then make them at all at same time. Carve out a chunk of the whatever you can turn off every other distraction and only make phone calls to the important people on your list. Write down the name, number, and subject to each person that you need to call. Schedule phone calls as religiously as you would schedule a meeting with your boss. If an important call, write out your agenda for all the calls so that you are working from a list when you are talking to other person. There are few things and experting at grading of an important phone calls with a difficult to reach person and discovering that the forgotten cover important point because of didn't write it down. Be polite and professional. When you call another person, always ask, is this a good time to talk? Top executive to use this polite and professional phrase of open up a phone call. Even pay a scheduled phone calls. If an emergency has risen in the interim, it may not be a good time to talk. After all, if you try to forge ahead with your conversation, at the point the other person will be unable to pay close attention. So always ask, is this a good time? If the other person says it is not a good time, offer to call back later or ask the person to suggest a time that would be more convenient. This is a simple way to show courtesy and respect, and it is be appreciated. Never assume that the other person and time to talk about this moment, no matter what you have arranged earlier. Avoid telephone tag. Do everything possible to avoid playing telephone tags. Set up telephone appointments exactly as you would set up a face-to-face meeting in the office. When you call phone people leave a specific time and number of which you would be available when you people call you and you can't always speak with them. Have your secretary get a call back time that you convenient for the caller. It should be during hours when you will be in your office or available by telephone so that you can return calls on time. Use the telephone as a business tool. Get on and off a phone quickly. Set straight to the point, be polite and friendly, and but business-like and result-oriented. The more precise and prepared you can about the time and content of your telephone conversation, the more you will get done faster and the more productive you will be every call. Conduct effective meeting. Only 25% to 50% of management time is spent in meeting. All kinds of this may be one of the meeting, brief meeting in hallway and while going to out of the office, or more formal sit-down meetings in an office or a meeting room. Unfortunately, 50% of meeting time is wasted. Meeting consume enormous and amount of time and produce little lasting value. However, meetings are also a key management tool and must be used effectively. Calculate the meeting cost. Make sure that you have a good reason for calling or attending any meeting. Look upon each meeting and business investment. Look upon a meeting or carrying a cost in magical real and staff time and works. Check a combined hourly pay of the people in those meetings and realize that you need to get a return on your investment in this amount of money. If you have 10 people in a room who earn an average of $50 per hour, then it is going to cost $500 out of the bank account of the company for the 1 hour meeting. If someone wanted to spend $500 on a project and came to you for approval, you would want to know what the company would get from this expense. You would probably want to think about it for a while before you approve it. You might even demand more information and detail before you are comfortable authorizing an expenditure of this size. Treat each meeting the same way. Avoid unnecessary meeting. Always ask if this meeting has to be held at all. Whenever a meeting is unnecessary, it necessary not be a whole meeting. If you personally don't need to attend the meeting and don't attend if you are organizing a meeting, if yourself who attends essential to the meeting and invite only those people. Refrain from inviting people don't need to be just to make them feel good or important. Prepare an agenda. Prepare an agenda for every meeting and always follow a written agenda. Prioritize the item on the agenda and deal with the most important ones first in the case of run out time. As the meeting leader, your job is keep to discussion on track and push on closure on the time before moving on. Start and stop your meeting on time. If you have people who are chronically late and you might consider locking of doors shortly after your start time. Another strategy is to assume that the latecomer is not coming at all, just beginning the meeting. Once the meeting begins, ensure that there are no interruptions while you are in the meeting. In this best-selling book, What Quote You Have Want You Get, the Marshall Goldsmith says that one of the biggest flaws in leadership is the tendency of dominate meetings that are attended by the leaders surrounding us. Because you are the boss, everyone listens when you speak. Over time, people learn not to say anything or to interrupt, but just to let you continue speaking as long as you want on any subject that you want. Ask no question. In a meeting, be like the wise old owl that has 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use your ears and your mouth exactly that proportion. Ask more questions and listen more closely than you talk or contribute to the agenda. Use a meeting of electric-based thinking and person of room, which is not possible if you are talking all the time. The best and most efficient meetings and standing meetupping. You can hold this type of meeting, perhaps in our office. Only no one sits down and whatever needs to be discussed and discussed quickly, succinctly so that everyone can get back to the work. It's simple to convene such a meeting. You say, in the interest of time, because I know how busy everyone is, let's hold to stand up meeting. that we can so cover everything, get back and faster. Since people usually are busy, you will find that given and right time and place, this time of meeting is very much appreciated by people, staff member. As Peter Drucker once wrote, anything more than 25% is managerial time spent in meeting is a sign of malorganization. Read faster, remember more. The average business person today is reading thousands of words, email, reports, news, stories, business information, magazine, articles, and another data to be successful today. You have to keep current with your reading requirements. We live in a knowledge-based society, and one key piece and information you can immediate effect on your work and your decision making. Take some time to be selective about what you read. The best time saver in the world of reading and keeping current to the delete button on your keyboard. Use it early and use it often. Resist the temptation to spend time reading things and that are not immediate value of relevance to your life and work. Learn to speed read. You cannot avoid all the incoming information, but you can sort it to go through in it at a time and place that makes sense to you. One of the most important skills you can develop to learn speed read. If you have never taken a course in speed reading, you should do it now. This is one course will allow you to tripe your reading speed and level of retention. Probably in the first two lessons, technologies that have developed to speed reading and quite phenomenal, and anyone can learn how to read 500 to 11 1000 word per minute with a high level of compression. Compression burns your reading. When you come across valuable items, summaries, and pieces of information on the internet, print them out and then file and aside separate digital file on your computer for reading later. Instead the task shifting, that switching away from the work and doing a recent piece of information, put it aside to read a later time. Once you get into a habit of doing this, you will be amazed how much more you read, how much more attention you can give when you read that material. Well, regards the newspaper especially, you can either have the most important information published in newspaper come to your computer and on a daily basis, or you can read the paper version. In either case, skim quickly and read only what is relevant to you. In news reporting, the most important information is usually in the headline and first paragraph. Very often, you do not need to read all details in the story to understand exactly what has happened. Read selectively. Magazines are designed and crafted in the way to get you read through the magazine page by page. This is so that you will get the maximum exposure and advertisement in the magazines. It's the same with newspapers. For this reason, you must read magazines, journals, newspapers, and news shelters selectively, reading only what is relevant and important to you. Review the table content and go straight to the articles and interest in your life and work. A great technique to printed materials is called rip and read. Rip out the articles that you want to read, put them in a file, and carry the file with you to be referred to later when you have downtime. Review books carefully before deciding which you want to spend time reading. You can subscribe to book review services, both the print in online and get the very best ideas from any book in just few minutes. Just say no. The best way to save time in your reading endeavors is to make a decision not to read something at all. Be carefully screening and material forwarded table of content and introduction and information about the author or the index. You may find that the book of journal is not important to you. In this case, discontinue reading or discard it completely so that you can free up more time to do things and greater importance. Develop a system. Over the years, I have developed the rhythm of habit of reading 3 or more hours each day on subjects related to business, economics, politics, and personal development. The amounts to more 150,000 hours of reading over increases my career. With the information that I accumulate, I have been able to write more than 60 books, including these ones. When people ask me how it is that I can read so much, my explanation is simple. I organize my reading and work away at a little bit at a time, minute by minute, hour by hour, flight by flight, whenever I have period of free time, such as airport launch waiting for a plane. Remember, readers are leaders. This is not possible for you to keep correct with your field and to be top of your industry unless you are feeding your mind continually but selectively with the information that is being generated today by some of the smallest people who ever lived. Invest the personal development. The most important thing you do to increase your value, improve your result, and make yourself more important to your business to become better and better in the most important things to do. Self-development must be ongoing and continuous part of your time uses every day. It is a key time management function that can put on your path and executive suite and beyond. Find the time within your schedule and continue growing and developing. The basic rule with regard the personal development in that can go no further that you have gone today with your current knowledge and skill. Go to further and advantage after career you have go regain and knowledge you have to learn more and to earn more. Continuous and never-ending improvement. Work on developing and improving yourself every day. If you were to read something for 1 hour a day, improve your ability to your work that would put your top 1% on our society within 5 years. Listen to educational audio programs when you are traveling in the car. Today, virtually all the finished information ideas have ever been assumed in English or in any language are available as audio recordings on CDs or downloads or to a smartphone or tablet. The average computer spends 500 to 1000 hours per year in the car. Well, that's 12 or 20 40 hours a week, which equivalent is to university semesters. This means that can be benefit at almost full of time. University attend by simply turning traveling time into learning time. If you are not listening and audio programs in your car when you're traveling, you are missing out one of the great learning opportunities that exist today. Attend seminar taught by experts. Attend seminar and workshops given by experts in your field at least 4 times a year. Be aggressive about seeking out things seminars. Be prepared and travel large distance of learn from the very best people in your business. The key is for you to attend seminar taught by people with practical experience who have already achieved success in their field. Try to avoid lecture and seminar universities professor while the lovely towers in very towers. They have seldom been teachers when the trends academically correct and partially useless. This is almost no way that you can apply their ideas to get better result in your work. Organize your workspace. One of the great time management tools to the work from the clean desk and organized workspace. Just an excellent tip cleans and up kitchen before about cooking. Before or after cooking. And you should organize your workplace completely before you begin your work. One of the most successful entrepreneurs in recent history said that the key of his success was to always work from clean tasks. Peter Drucker observed that effective executives always have a clean desk. Everything except that once being they were working moment and remove the put away, which is why they are able to focus with greater clarity and go home, get more done, higher quality and shorter period of time. Put all of your documents away the appropriate files, both physical and online. Deal only with your current tasks. Try to have only one item in front of you, whatever possible. The top professional is every field. Keep a tidy and ordered near workspace all time. Think a carpenter, dentist, or a doctor. They clean up and recognize as they go through their day. Get organized and stay organized. Make sure your office supplies and materials are fully stocked and available at hand. You will find that nothing is more destructive or efficiency and effectiveness having to start a job and then stop and then start again for lack of proper preparation or supplies. Organization increases productivity. Many people believe that they work more effectively in a messy work environment with the collected desks. Yet every study that have been done with people shows that they are forced to be clean up their work environment so that they have only 4 tasks in front of them. The productivity doubles and triples usually overnight. People who work with cluttered desks and found the spend of enormous amount of every working day looking for the materials they need among the clutter and around them. Psychologically, the sight of cluttered desks or office provided subconscious feedback and reinforced your perception that you are disorganized. It led continuous distraction as your eyes and your attention dart from item to item and back again. Conclusion. The final point about time management is the concept of balance. The most important thing that you can install in your life is balance and moderation. By practicing the methods, ideas, and techniques in this book, you will become a master of time management and have more time for your family and your personal life. Often people take a time management program so that they can increase the number of things that they can on day-to-day basis. However, as the wise man said that the more simply increasing its speed, the main purpose of learning and practicing time management skills is to enhance, improve overall quality in your life. It is to increase the amount of pleasures and happiness you experience. Your quality of time. Your quality life, no matter how appropriate your job is for you, the quality of your life is going to be largely determined by 3 things. The first is the quality of your inner life. How well you get along with yourself, how much you like yourself, and how good you feel about your character and personality. Inner development takes time and reflection, plus reading and thinking about the great questions of life. The second area of your health. No amount of success will compensate for ill health. Take time to eat and right foods, exercise regularly, get proper rest and recreations. Sometimes the best use of your time is to go to bed early and get a good night's sleep. Finally, the most important of all, take time for your relationship. The people you can care about, who care about you, are the most critical factors in your life. Never allow people to get a catch up in your work that you ignore the primacy of those key relationships with your spouse, children, and close friends. A great life of that one of the balance. If you spend sufficient time preserving and enhancing the quality of your relationship, you will find that you get more joy, satisfaction, fulfillment of your work. You will find your success. A wise doctor once observed, I never spoke to a businessman on his deathbed who said that he wished he had spent more time in the office. Thank you and good luck in using these ideas in every part of your life. Thank you.